Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order and adopt the agenda. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, November 10th, the regular planning meeting of council. Be it resolved that the meeting be called to order and that the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Councilor Clyburn first, right? Move.
I'll second.
Second, okay. Call for a question.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
Opposed? Okay. Carried. Now we go down to item number 2, addendum to the agenda. Be it resolved that the following additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda.
Do you have any?
Yes, I do. I have one. I'd like to remove 18.1.3, zoning bylaw amendment.
I'll move.
Any second? Does anyone second it?
I'll second.
Peter Campbell seconds it. Any questions? None? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
What's a chicken?
See that? Okay, item number 4, opening remarks. I guess opening remarks, West St. Paul strives to be a safe and inclusive community that residents are proud to call home, where diversity is embraced, the environment is cared for, and leadership is valued and trusted. West St. Paul Council is committed to working as a team to provide good governance, safe and reliable infrastructures, recreational facilities, and outdoor spaces that the community can enjoy in a sustainable way that values the environment and is financially prudent. Now we go down to item number 5, the planning hearing. We like to, that's it.
You can read all of this.
No, I think I'll just read part of it. At a public hearing, councils hear from many delegations, and we will be ultimately decided if the application is a good fit for the community and if it will be approved. We consider both legal requirements the planner has researched as well as feedback from the community. I also want to briefly discuss the process and conduct during the public hearing. To begin a public hearing, resolution is read to open the public hearing. Our planners begin by presenting information from his report as well as his recommendations to council. Council members can then ask questions for clarification through the chair. We will then hear from the applicant, followed by those who have registered to speak in favor, those opposed, and then from those who have registered for information. At the end of each presentation, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond. At that time, no new information can be presented. Council members will have an opportunity to ask questions for clarification to the applicant and anyone registered to speak on the planning items. All questions must be made through the chair as per our procedural bylaw. We have many people here who have taken time to come out and register to speak. It is our goal to hear from each and every one of you tonight. I would ask that each person be as concise as possible in their comments and restrict your comments only to the applications before them. If your position or the information you want to share with council is the same as other speakers who have spoken before you, you can indicate this by identifying the key points of your argument. Lastly, we want to provide a respectful setting for all those who wish to be heard here tonight, regardless of their position on the matter. Respectful conduct means no interruptions, heckling, applause, signs, or placards, or any kind of disruptive or intimidating behavior. These kinds of behaviors do not promote a respectful environment. Anyone who behaves in this manner will be asked to leave the council chambers. And I would also request that you refrain from side conversations as they can be disruptive to the proceedings, especially with so many here this evening. You are free to enter and exit council chambers as needed, but please, as you do, quietly as possible. Audio and video recordings of the meeting proceedings are to be not permitted, sorry. And as a final reminder, please put all personal devices on silent. With these comments, I will read the resolution to open the public hearing. Be it resolved that this meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 96 of the Planning Act. The item that we will first hear from is item number, I asked for a mover. Seconder?
I'll second it.
Okay. Ask for all those in favor?
Aye.
Favor?
Any opposed? None? Carried. First item that we'll discuss is 5.1.1, public hearing VO 110/22. Fanny?
Good evening, council members, and good evening, everyone. First item tonight is DO 110/2002. The location is 835 Apollos Drive, road number 29731. The proposal is to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 feet to 12 feet in the CH Highway Zoning District. What you're looking at is what is called the variance request table. It shows what the subject property zone is zone CH, and in that zone, the minimum required setback for rear yard is 25 feet, and the applicant is proposing 12 feet. This is the location map that shows the subject property and the surrounding contest. And this is the site plan as submitted by the applicant. It shows the existing structure, it shows what is being proposed as an addition, and where the rear yard, the 12-foot rear yard is being proposed. This is for council's consideration. The subject proposal is consistent with policies of the development plan and the secondary plan. Applicant is proposing to reduce rear setback of 12 feet instead of 15 feet. Given the residential zoning to the north, the RM is requesting that the applicant install trees along the rear property line to provide additional buffer between the subject proposal and the neighboring residential properties to the north. Also, the RM would like to review the final lot grading plan and the revised landscape plan for the project. Should council wish to approve this application, RPD is recommending 3 conditions, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Question? Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, Mr. Ojo, for the opening remarks. Quick question. What's the rear yard setback for the residential properties?
I believe it's going to be 25 feet if it's higher.
25?
Yes.
And then how many homes would this be impacting potentially? How many residential homes would this variance be impacting? 6? Is it 6?
6 or 7.
Okay, that's all for now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for clarification on the pre-con letter of intent or whatever, it's saying 10 foot to setback to 10 feet, and the application shows for 12 feet, so just.
So the 10 is to the eave, and the 12 is to the face of the building. And when setbacks are measured, they are measured from the lot line to the face of the building.
Sorry, could you repeat that from the lot line to?
Face
To
of the
the
building.
face of the building.
Okay. So this 10 feet then,
It's
sorry,
to
Mr. Mayor,
It's to the eve.
would, 10
Eavesdrop.
feet would be from the eaves?
Yes.
Okay.
Any more questions? I have a question. This building that they want to put in is to store materials.
According to the applicant, it's a cold storage, and
Okay.
it wasn't really listed in terms of what is gonna be stored in it. But if it's a cold storage, then we know it's gonna be cold, material that requires a refrigeration.
They fabricate spas? That's what's here.
I don't know, but the applicant is there to provide more, to shed more light on that.
Okay. I guess I'm just curious what kind of, what he'll be storing in that, what type of materials he'll be storing in that building.
You can ask
We
the
can ask the
applicant that
applicant.
question
Yes.
from the applicant consult.
Is the applicant here? Can you come forward?
If you are finished with, anything, you can bring the applicant.
Oh, okay, sure, I'll finish. Yep. Any other questions?
Any questions?
No.
Councilor? To the applicant.
Okay, can the applicant come forward, please?
You can have a seat.
Now, seat, please. Can you state your name,
Lyle Cherniak,
your address?
61 Allenford Drive.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess, so what type of materials are you storing in this building that you want to build?
Possibly could be cedar, but I'm not certain.
Oh,
You're the, sorry, through the mayor, you're the builder, I'm guessing, or are you the applicant?
Well, I'm the builder, but as well as the applicant.
Okay.
Precon's
You're
the
both?
applicant, and I work for Precon.
Okay, but you're, yeah, so the applicant would be who actually runs the business out of, right, because it's not Precon running out of this business.
No,
is it?
certainly not.
Yeah, so the applicant is,
Northern Lights.
okay, yeah.
So through the mayor, may I ask a question? Are you representing Northern Lights tonight?
Yes,
Okay. And they've given you authority to do that?
yes.
Thank you.
so all you have, is that what you make the spas from, cedar?
I believe it would be cedar.
You're not sure? It's a wood product, well, not, no chemicals, no,
No, it's a wood product.
okay. That's it, that's all for my questions. Anyone have any questions to the applicant?
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, yeah, thanks for coming down, appreciate it. So the rest of the site, was it ever contemplated to build the addition on other areas of the site instead of seeking a variance?
I mean, elsewhere on the site,
Yeah, you're seeking a variance to vary the minimum rear yard setback from 25 to 12. Were other areas of the site looked at or analyzed in terms of putting the addition?
I believe so, but it's, I mean, there's also loading areas, you know, they have to bring trucks in, so I believe that's why they're doing the addition.
And sorry, just a second question, how tall is this building? At the back?
To the underside of Eve or to the peak of the ridge?
I guess at the highest point. And or at the eaves, if you know the eaves, and let me know what the eaves are.
I'm thinking the eaves are probably gonna be about 18, somewhere around there.
To the highest point, probably another 10 feet,
Possibly.
20 feet.
It'll, you can see in the rendering, it, like, it's the same as the existing building. Like, there's a building there, and then we're gonna put an addition to the north.
So, okay, so the picture I'm looking at right now, where it says proposed addition,
Yes.
is that a flat roof or is that,
No, it's a,
it's a pitched roof?
It's a pitch roof, it's a little difficult to see with the grade.
And is there any windows in the back or lighting?
I don't believe so.
Okay, those are my questions, thank you.
Any further quick, Councilor Campbell?
Yeah, so just a couple quick questions. So the existing building right now, like there's the main building, which is showroom and whatever, that, the existing building, what goes on in that building? Is that just Is there any manufacturing that is happening in that building right now?
The one to the south?
The one that would basically be attached to this building?
No, there's no manufacturing.
It's just shipping, storage type of thing?
Yes.
Okay. That's why I was just concerned, because how stuff moves, right? If they're manufacturing in one building, then, this building is attached, let's just, start working out of this one too. So that's why I just wanted to make sure that was, the case.
Councilor Freiberg?
Through the chair. So why was it not contemplated to put it towards the front of the building rather than the back of the building? I mean, you could have a walk-through right to the back. So was it just convenience or design or what?
Why are we putting the addition
In the back
on the
rather
north
than the
instead
front?
of to the south?
Yeah, because you've got lots of space according, when I look at the yard, you've got quite a bit of space in front of you. Are you,
I believe the well is there and a holding tank, I think. I think the well is there in the front.
in the front, no, I'm saying,
In the front of the existing building.
in
is
front
what
of
she's
the
asking.
existing building, why wouldn't you just add on right there? That's not your design, I take it.
Oh, it is our design.
It is your design. Okay, so if we look at the front of the building,
Femi, can you bring up the rendering again, please?
Yeah, okay.
So she's basically talking why on this side instead of that side.
yeah,
I think is what I'm
why wouldn't you
understanding.
put it on the, and avoid the variance?
I believe because of the way they have to access the building, the trucks and things that come in.
So you're saying they probably need more turnaround space?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, Debbie, can you go to the previous slide? Yeah. Well, it looks to me like there's lots of space there to turn around. But now, if we put, how many square feet is the next building, the addition?
I believe it's 6,000.
6,000 square feet, oh, that's huge. Okay, that's the addition.
55.9.
Wow, okay. So that would take up a lot of space in the front as well. Okay, so this is just a design on their part, what they wanted. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ken?
Femi, are you able to bring up,
Just like do we know what the distance is from that to that?
just, I think it'll help
Yeah.
Councillor Clyburn just answer her questions as well. Just because we all know how much space a semi-trailer needs to move around.
I don't, do you?
I have a pretty good idea.
Okay, good.
Well, I have a 52-foot, right? So we need at least 2/3 more than that.
Here we go. That's 817, is that's not 835,
No, I believe that's right.
It's approximately 232 feet.
232, so you're gonna need,
is it? 115,
well, yeah, so it would leave it tight if there was anything else parked in there for sure.
yeah. I'm just not sure,
It's-
you're gonna get 6,000 square feet back there. You're looking at 817
That's
though,
not the
you're
reg-
looking
yeah,
at
that's not the reg
835,
building.
that's the problem too.
Because there's nothing there yet.
Yeah, because there's nothing on that drawing.
Nothing there. What you showed.
228, so it's about the same distance.
No, they're actually, it's quite a bit ahead there, the one at 835.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's the property next to it though.
No, it's,
Next property, other property.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go,
Approximately 186.
yeah.
yeah, no, but making it possible to run business.
Okay.
I'm good, Mr. Mayor.
Good. Anyone else have any more questions?
Yeah, probably it can't get answered by the builder. I was asked just questions on the sea cans that are, if those are gonna be moved when all this is up. Which
Okay.
would help with the turning if something was moved, but,
Okay.
for the.
Can I ask Councilor Bichetti how many seat cans are there right now?
I don't know, I'm just looking at this aerial here and it's still showing 4 up there with that building,
I wonder if they're still
with
there.
that building.
Okay.
There's still a few back there, I've never been back there, so.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Sorry, do you know if the property still has sea containers on it right now?
I'm not certain.
No.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, do we have anyone in the audience?
Okay, so, we finish with the applicant, you can sit down, and then we have any of those people that are for the application, turn to Pam, and Pam will let you know.
Pam, do you have anyone registered for the application?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have Albert and Lynn registered in support.
Okay,
Sir, you can stand down.
Speak.
would you like to come up and speak?
No, I'm fine. I was more for information too, but I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Okay,
I looked at the property beside it, it's also closer than his building, so.
okay,
You can have a seat, we'll call you back at the end.
Right there, we did.
Ms. Ellis, how many were there registered for?
We also have Ben Hagan registered in support.
Is Ben here?
That's me,
Oh,
but I'm just here to support the decision for the building, so.
Okay,
Okay.
is there anyone opposed?
No one opposed. We do have Eleanor Lake registered for information.
Okay. Does Eleanor Link?
And could you clarify on the diagram where the holding tank is and how access is got to the
Got to the
holding
holding
tank?
tank.
Ms. Lick, would you like to state your name and
Oh,
address?
I'm sorry, yes, Eleanor Link, 1045 Toshack Road, thank you.
Okay.
Where's the holding tank and?
How did they get access
Yeah,
to
so-
it?
Where's the holding tank and where do they gain access? Do you know? Fanny?
I mean, the property itself is accessed by through Carpenter's Drive, and I'm sure that is where the access to the site is going to be, and every other thing on site.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you, Femi, if you could just speak a little bit louder.
So this property itself is accessed through Carpenter's Drive.
Yeah.
And I believe access to every other facilities on site will be through that access.
So the holding tank, through the mayor to Femi, the holding tank would be located where for the sewage? Do we know?
No, I don't know.
We don't know.
No.
Okay.
It could be in the front or the
Mr.
back.
Mayor.
Could be in the front or the back.
It's really,
Just
I would
to-
imagine.
it's really a moot point.
Most
Yeah,
of those
yeah.
buildings
I
have
know.
it right along,
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
most of those buildings have it right along the front, that's where all their holding tanks are right on,
So that
access
sewer
right
is-
at Capitalist.
oh, right on the front?
It's in front, yeah, because if they ever get a sewer line running down there, they have to be able to access the
Okay.
connections.
Does that answer your question, Ms. Lynn? Does that answer your question? What's the holding tank?
no,
on
I
the
don't
front?
think the question was answered, but that's the way it is.
Oh, okay. Does anyone else have questions,
Comment?
comments? State your name.
Norma Albert, 312 Evelyn Avenue. I do have a diagram here from the application for conditional use made in June of 2021. And it shows the diagram, it shows that the holding tank is right here where the new addition is to be added, and it shows the well down here. So if those are their actual locations, that would make the holding tank a pretty major problem.
Well, could we have the diagram?
Yep.
Can council have a look at the
Sure, but I'm,
diagram, Mr. Mayor?
yes, by all means. I'll take a look.
Councillors?
My comments, looking at the drawing is, you know, if the holding tank is there, they're gonna have to move it, and it's just gonna be a cost to them, so it's, you know, conservation, it's gonna know that they've moved it. Like I said, they know they can't put a building on top of a holding tank. You know, pre-con builds lots of buildings, so.
I think the holding tank is located on the north side of the building, but further to the west corner of it. And that's why they're looking at the addition more on the east.
Yeah, he's not supposed to talk right now, so
Okay.
just, we'll have you, do a rebuttal after we hear, and then you can speak again and tell us.
No, no, I have no questions, sorry.
You have any questions?
No, I just see if we have questions with the administration, minor, we can do that now.
Yeah.
Just in the summary.
Would Mrs. Olberg like to finish her comments and questions?
Sure, yes.
I'll just kind of sum it up. I think herein lies the challenge for you, that as these developments come along, once you've made the zoning, then anything can happen within that zone. So this applicant, or this business, this is the third time coming to council. The first was in 2020 to get a conditional use in a commercial highway zone. Now they probably don't even have to come for that because we changed the bylaws this summer that really blended commercial highway closer to light industrial and M1. And then a conditional use would actually get you to the M2. So what we're seeing is now a blending of the companies that doing business in West St. Paul, but if the houses are not built on their back fence yet, those are RMF1. They are 20-foot row houses, 2-story high. And so when you take your building now 12 feet or 10 feet from the fence, you can talk about a berm, but when you look at the slope of a 1 to 4, there's not much of a berm going to be there. And so your trees are going to take 15, 20 years. Your bedrooms in the houses are all going to be on the second floor. You can maybe block a bit of view, but you can't do a whole lot with noise, if there's diesel fumes, the chaos of whatever is going on in that yard. And I guess another basic question I have is there access to this new building through its own door, or does it get access through the existing building? So is there a side door, or is this just being an extension of the existing building?
So Mr. Mayor, we'll have that.
Can I have the applicant answer that question, please?
When it's his turn.
Oh.
When it's his turn, you close everything.
Okay.
So I think in summary, that's it for me. I'll listen with interest as you have your deliberations, because certainly as a resident, I want to see that there's a broader picture that's always being considered, and so that whether or not those townhouses are built yet, they will be, and to consider what's the best blend when these neighborhoods get so mixed with commercial / industrial and residential. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'll ask the applicant now to,
We can ask questions of the planner.
does the planner have any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, you have any questions? Council have any questions for the planner?
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
The applicant, do you have any more comments to make?
Sir, if you want to make any comments, just come to the front table, please.
believe all the access is through the existing building. There's none from the east, and there's certainly none from the north.
Okay.
I'll just make a comment, yeah, if you look at the drawings, it doesn't show any additional, overhead doors. There's probably a man door or something like that on one of the sides, but from the drawings, that, I don't see any other access doors.
Any other comments?
To the applicant, there was a comment made about noise and diesel fumes. This is cold storage,
Yes.
so any existing noise or diesel fumes would be coming from the front building, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's already existing. And I don't think there's anything else that I have to ask. I imagine there would be an exit door in the back though, would there not?
Well, it was required.
Yeah,
actually.
it's
It would-
required for emergency purposes, correct? Yeah. To have an exit, more than one. Okay.
Councilor Sherry?
Is it, one more question, is there there's an existing fence there
On the.
on the property
north-
right now?
On the north side of the property?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the height of that, do you know?
It's at least 6 feet.
It's at least 6 feet? Okay.
Any more questions, Councilor?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Councilor Sherry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So you're saying that this cold storage building is gonna be attached to the fabrication part of it? Is it saying on the application here that the letter of intent that the back building you're attaching this addition to is for the fabrication building, is an addition to the fabrication building for storage?
Yes.
It's all the work's done in the back, or not the one that we're asking for the application for the addition, but the one you're attaching it to. Okay, thank you.
Does anyone, any elements have any more questions? Councilor Campbell, no?
Nope,
No?
okay.
Councilor,
Motion for it to make a motion, or a resolution.
Okay, I guess, do you guys got any more comments to make? No questions, any comments? Okay, so then the public hearing is over.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
my apologies, we also have Jerry Belinky registered for information.
Oh, Jerry Belinky, where's, stand up. The applicant can step down, please.
I just have a few questions.
Can you state your name and address?
Jerry Belinky, 354 Garden View Drive.
Okay.
This building, everybody keeps talking about cold storage. Now, if the zoning applies, it also includes other uses for that building. It's not just cold storage. It'd be whatever that property is zoned for, that's what could go on that property. Saying that it's cold storage doesn't exclude it only for cold storage, am I correct? Unless the council dedicates it to that.
You've posed your question, and we can ask the planner that question.
Okay, can the building be used for anything else other than cold storage if it is approved?
Can the planner answer that question?
So in the zoning bylaw, we have different uses under which that are categorized under which it can be under the state district, where we have all the list of uses that can be that the applicants can actually propose in those districts. So I'm kind of looking at it now, and cold storage is, storage is one of those things that is permitted.
What are the other uses, Mr. Ojo?
Just give me 1 second.
Mr. Mayor, if I may make a comment, if the applicant's
Sure.
asking for it strictly to be cold storage, we can
So-
specify that the building is for cold storage only.
In
is
the
not.
CA district, you can see it's right on the screen. We have different uses from agricultural to amusement enterprise, outdoor, automobiles, or sales and service stations, storage compounds.
So it has to be conditional uses though.
So it's, we have a lot of uses that the applicant can actually do. General storage.
Include contractors established.
Yeah. It's a Pantanalis, and I remember the applicant came in 2021 for the Pantanalis approval, I'm sure it's for those things.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Well, the question is that this being allowed, and then the people should purchase homes later on behind there, and then, we change the use of the building. So I don't think it's right. I mean, council is gonna approve this on the idea of it just being storage, but that's not the case. It could be a lot of things. So I would say if it's supposed to be storage, then it should be conditional use of storage.
Okay.
And also, I'm not too happy with the 12-foot, because it's an 18-foot sidewalk. It's a big building.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
All right?
I may ask for clarification on
Yes,
something through the planner. Can we add a condition in there that it is only kept as cold storage, that it can't be expanding of their, fabrication shop, anything like that? That's what the intent of the application is, just to make it stay as the intent of the application?
I would, it's a tough question. I would say no. I'd say the issue that you're dealing with is, can the building be closer to the property line, yes or no? And not what goes on inside the building.
But the intent with that the backyard setback change is that it's only used as cold storage. It's in their letter of intent.
You would then be precluding the applicant from doing any other permitted use within that building, which would be a right under the zoning bylaw. I'd be afraid that could be challenged.
But that could change some conditions. If all of a sudden they start doing fabrication, now they're 10 feet closer to the property line. Now you've got noise happening in there where we're looking at it as a cold storage where it's there's no work being done in there, there's no noise coming out of there. And then changing the zoning with the 10-foot difference, now you have noise coming out of there.
What I would offer to council, Mr. Mayor, is that those factors are things that you should probably weigh in your decision-making. Anything that is listed as a permitted use within the zoning bylaw could happen within that building with the reduced setback. So if you're, if you have concerns about potential impacts from some of those uses, I would say that's something you need to consider, whether there's a condition you can place on an approval to eliminate or mitigate potential impact. That might be something you want to consider as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Campbell?
To the planner. At the beginning, you, regular planning had 3 conditions, right? So we could not have that as a 4th condition? I know you're saying it leaves us open to some things, but I think, they're asking for us to, as a condition, have it closer. Well, then why can't it be a condition of what the intent of the building actually is?
What I would offer to council, Mr. Mayor, is that council can put on whatever condition you deem is appropriate. However, our position would be that you might be precluding the applicant from doing something in that building that's permitted rights under the zoning bylaws.
Okay.
Something to consider.
Through the mayor? And then it could be appealable.
A variance cannot be appealable.
Oh, okay. So if we restrict the cold storage, restricted to cold storage, can they appeal that? No?
Not to the Manitoba Municipal Board, it would have to be a challenge to the courts.
Okay.
Which
Do you have anything to add?
No, I just, if they're simply asking for that, I can't see them challenging it and having an issue with us holding them to that.
Okay. So that brings us, this hearing to an end.
The applicant would like to see something else.
No. Yeah. I have it, right?
Gonna close the public hearing?
Yes. Right.
You have to close the
I'll
public.
move that public hearing to be closed, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Go ahead. And then second it.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a resolution for discussion.
Okay.
So, thank you for the applicant for coming here. Appreciate the people speaking for and for information. When I see this application, the voices that for me is missing is the residences that, if there were people living behind or across the property, Mr. Mayor, I don't think that they would be supportive of this application. If this variance for me was only maybe 2 feet of a variance, I might be more open to it. But we're talking over 52% difference from what's allowed, with the 25-foot minimum, to a 12-foot minimum. So if at the beginning I was asking the planner, what is the rear yard setback for the residential across the way? And I was told it's 25 feet. So 25 feet plus 12, that's 37 feet. That's pretty close from the back of the house to the other side of the wall, to this steel building that's gonna be about 28 feet tall. Blank wall. So on those grounds, Mr. Mayor, for discussion, I'll move that the application for 835 Capulus Drive to reduce a rear setback for a main structure on a commercial highway zone property from 25 foot to 12 feet be denied.
So we'll put it in discussion right now.
Right.
Everybody can have their say, and then you will read the resolution and we'll call it to the question how people want to vote. So,
Okay.
Mr. Councillor Patcan disagrees with the resolution. So the rest of council would like to hear from them, right?
Yep. You want to make a comment?
No, I have no more comments. The planner answered some of the questions. I had difficulty trying to put some of the conditions in, so I think I made my decision. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Campbell?
I've heard enough. I'm good.
Councillor Clymer?
Well, I think that I have to agree with Mr. Patcan. There's some issues with this building. Although it's a good building, and I know Precon are good builders, we've already done a variance on this building to allow the first building. And obviously it's a growing business and they want to do more storage. And now there's a second building which is 1,000 square feet, 1,200 square feet, even bigger than the first building. So I worked out that for square footage. That's a lot of square footage. And I agree with Councillor Patcan with regards to the residents. I don't know how much you can buffer with trees. And trees, depending on what you choose, will take a lot of time to grow. Having said that, I mean, I understand this is a business and I'm a business person as well, but we have to work sometimes within the confines of our properties. And we have to consider not just the business owner, but also the residents as well. So those are my comments.
Okay. Any proposed changes to the resolution must be supported by, okay. Does anyone,
Well, we can read the resolution, you can call it to question, and you can vote either for or against.
be resolved that this meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearing
We
proceeding?
did that already.
Oh, we did that?
Yeah, so now we're going to read the resolution to vote. Resolution?
Right. Be it resolved, whereas application of variance was received from the property located on Capulus to reduce the rear yard setback for main structure on CH commercial highway zone property for required 25 feet to 12 feet, and whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, hearing has been held to hear representation from both for and against. Be it therefore resolved that after careful consideration, council of the RM of Western
Oh,
Call.
Mr. Mayor, I'm kind of worried if we
Okay.
just want to ask a question of staff here. So I made a motion. Is that the motion that we're talking about, or what's? I'm not confused in terms of what the mayor's reading and the motion that I made.
Yeah, when you made a motion, did anyone second the motion?
Repeat the motion.
Okay, so my motion essentially is that we've considered this variance 110 of 22 for 835 Capulus Drive to reduce a rear yard setback for a main structure CH commercial highway zone property from 25 feet minimum to 12 feet minimum. And I'm gonna move, therefore be resolved that the application for that the variance be denied. So I'm moving that, we need a seconder.
I'll second that.
Okay, just to the staff, could we not do the same thing by reading the resolution and voting for or against?
But he had made the motion at the time before.
Okay, all right, so then you have to call to the question.
Okay, call to the question.
All those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, carried.
So motion is denied.
Right, motion is denied.
I mean, the application is
variance is
denied.
denied.
All right, that's a new one for us, Councillor Bakhtian, so
Sorry.
work with us.
So just so I understand, there's a resolution that's put into the AllNet,
Yeah,
and it's worded a certain way,
yes,
and we read that, and then we vote on that.
yeah, and then we vote for or against. So if you want to vote for that to go through, you vote for, and if you don't want it to go through, you vote against.
Okay, I thought we would make a motion either way. I thought we had the opportunity to.
We haven't been doing
Yeah,
that, but you can.
but that's okay, we did it.
Different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But if you could, Mr. Mayor, if you may ask Mr. Pactican, Councilor Pactican, if you can just, did the staff get that resolution the way it was worded? Okay, just so they have it worded.
Councillor Paxton, if you could provide it by email potentially?
Sure, I can do that. Send it. So, sir, you understand that the application for the variance was denied? Thank you.
Yes.
So you're going to move to your next application, and open the public hearing.
We were at 5.2, open the public hearing, variance order 113-2. Be it resolved that this meeting of council recessed for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 96 of the Planning Act. Can I have a second?
I'll move.
Can I have a seconder? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Call for a vote.
All those in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor? Carried. Okay. Opposed? None opposed? No. Public hearing has been held in the matter. Okay.
Mr. Planner,
Mr. Planner, can you please take over? Okay.
The various application, the second one we're looking at this evening is a VO 113-2002. The location is 4477 Main Street, road number 214800. The proposal is to vary the intensity of the legal non-conforming use in an A4 agricultural zone. Variance request to vary the intensity of the legal non-conforming use in order to facilitate the construction of an accessory structure on site. The sublet property is approximately 100 acres in size and is located on the east side of Main Street. The property zone A4 agricultural is designated as GD General Development in the RPD Development Plan and designated as institutional in the West St. Paul non-secondary plan. That's the location map that shows the extent of the subject property. And this is the subject site plan as subject to RPD. It shows the location of the structure that's being proposed as an addition. For council's consideration, the applicant is proposing to construct an 18,000 square foot addition to an existing 700 square foot accessory structure on site. The proposed addition will increase the intensity of the existing legal non-conforming use on the subject property. As per section 91(1)(b) of the Planning Act, the applicant owner can submit a variance application to council for approval to increase the intensity of an existing non-conforming use. Given the existing use on site and the surrounding context, there is nothing to suggest the proposed addition will have a negative effect on the existing surrounding properties. Previous various applications on this site, BO 80/2008 and BO 63/2010, to vary the intensity of non-conforming use on this site were also approved by council. The applicant was circulated to government agencies, and there are no concerns. RPD is recommending that should council wish to approve this application, we recommend two conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Does the councilors have any questions for the planning? Councilor Camden,
No
any
questions?
Council Clyburn, none?
None.
Council Bichetti,
No
none?
questions, thank you.
Council, none?
No.
Okay, can I ask the applicant to address council? Yep, please, can you come up? State your name and address.
My name's Greg Hassiak. I'm at 31 Vassar Road in Winnipeg.
Okay, thank you. Does council have, any councilors have any questions for the applicant? Councilor Bichetti?
The intent of this building, to go from the 700 to up to 2,500 square feet.
Right. So it's a columbarium, which is it's a building that has niches for the remains, for cremated remains. So there's a smaller existing columbarium that they're adding on to.
Okay. I was just curious if it was a garage, like where their equipment goes, anything
Right.
like that. So, okay, thank you.
Councilor Pankratz, any questions?
No, not at this time.
Councilor Clyburn?
I have no questions.
Councilor Campbell, any questions?
The only question, do you guys have other sites as well? Do you have other locations?
So I'm the architect representing the
Okay.
owner. So the owner is Arbor Memorial.
Yep.
They have many
Okay.
cemeteries here in Manitoba and across Canada.
That's my only question. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. Ms. Elias, is anyone registered for the application?
Yes, we don't have anyone registered for the application or again. We have 5 people registered for information. We have Eleanor Lynch registered for information.
No questions.
No questions? Okay,
Norma Albert registered for information.
No, thank you.
no questions?
Father Zachary Schwaller.
No questions.
No questions? Okay,
Father Gabriel Haber.
No questions.
no questions, okay.
And Jerry Balicki.
No questions? Okay.
I'll move that we close public hearing.
Okay, then I move to close the public hearing. Can I get a
I'll second,
second?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, can I get a vote?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Say-
To close the public hearing?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor,
Aye. Oh,
we need a mover.
Oh, we need a move?
Yeah,
I'll
we need a
move.
mover, please.
Okay,
Good move. I'll move.
good. Then it's,
Councilor
Okay.
Clapper.
it's passed, right?
Yeah, it's all in, everyone's in
All in
favor.
favor?
Yeah.
Carried. Okay, so now we go to, whereas the application of variance 1 was received for the property located at 4477 Main Street to vary the intensity of the legal non-conforming use in a 4 agricultural zone in order to construct an 1,800 square foot addition of an existing, I don't know how to say the word, anyways. Conveyor. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representation for both and against the application, therefore be it resolved that after careful consideration, Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul hereby approves variation 113/22 with the following conditions. This variance is limited to what is proposed within this application. Any changes will require new variance approval. Application owner to obtain all required permits, approvals for the Red River Planning District. A variance order will be expired and cease to have any effect if it is not acted upon within 12 months of the date of the decision. A board, council, or planning commission may extend the deadline under subsection 1 and for an additional period no longer than 12 months if the application was received before the initial desire.
Any discussion?
Is there any discussion? No, none. I ask for a mover to,
I'll move that resolution.
okay, ask for a seconder,
A second.
second. Does each council have any comments to make prior to this? Any additional comments?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Call the question.
None, none?
It's pretty straightforward.
Any proposed change? Okay. Supported by,
You just call it a
all those in
question.
favor, all the questions?
All in favor?
All in
All
favor?
those in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
Favor?
In favor?
All
Aye.
opposed? None? Okay, carried, unanimous.
There we go.
Okay,
You're all done, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, open public hearing, conditional use 20/22. Be resolved that this meeting council recess for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 105 of the Planning Act.
I'll move.
Do you want to second it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None carried. Public hearing, 3.1, public hearing, CU 20/20. Okay.
The conditional use application CU 20/2022, location is 979 Capellos Drive, road number 29720. The proposal is to allow an outside storage which is associated with what is called a contracted establishment on the subject site zone CH, commercial highway zone. Conditional use request. While the contracted establishment is a permitted use in the CH commercial highway zone, associated outdoor storage requires a conditional use approval from council. The applicant intends to develop the subject site in 2 phases, which includes a 15,400 square foot garage and a 2-story office building for phase 1, and there an 8,660 square foot cold storage building for phase 2. The applicant is proposing an exterior storage for drilling equipment on site, majority of which will be stored inside the building. The map shows the location of the subject sites and the surrounding context. This is the site plan that's submitted by the applicant to RRPD. It shows the extent of the building on site and the landscape. And that's the different elevations as submitted by the applicant. This is the artistic rendering of how the site is going to look like when it's completed. Consideration for council. As per Table 15 of the West and Port zoning bylaw, an outside storage facility requires a conditional use approval. The location of the outside storage is shown to be at the rear of the proposed building as per the subject site plan. The applicant is also proposing a 6-foot high fence or brick fence around the storage compound as per the zoning bylaw. The RM has noted there is an applicable landscape and building design standards in the existing government agreement registered on the property. The condition for approval mandating the applicant to submit a landscape plan to the RM for review has been placed on the subject proposal. There are other existing commercial properties uses within the immediate vicinity. It's important to note that in 2020, the conditional use approval for this outside storage tank was rejected by council, but it is noted that there are other conditional use approval within the immediate vicinity. We have a CU 41/2020 and CU 30/2020 for outside storage on the same street. Council must consider whether the proposed outdoor storage is compatible with the general nature of the surrounding area, most especially the residential zone to the north. RRPD is recommending that should council wish to approve the application, we recommend 4 conditions as listed. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does council have any questions for the planner? Councilor Shay?
Not at this time, thank you.
Councilor Patrick, any questions for the planner?
Just to confirm with the planner, the rear yard setback against the residential.
Same as 25.
25 feet, so it's consistent with the bylaw?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions? Councilor Clyber, any questions?
Yes, I would just like to know if the wall or fence is there currently, or are they putting it in?
According to the applicants, they will be putting it in the fence.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's a requirement in the existing development agreement with the RM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any existing fences on either side of that property right now? And the reason I'm asking is I would like to see an 8-foot fence, but if there's an existing 6-foot fence, then it makes no sense to go put in an 8-foot fence.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Any further questions? Councilor Clyber?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Councilor Campbell?
I just want clarification. If you could go back, you'd said that there was a previous application on that property?
Yes.
Sorry? And what was that, you know, I won't be able to get an answer right now. Was that by the same applicant or by someone else who owned this property beforehand?
It was a different applicant.
Yeah, that's, okay. Yeah, so it's, okay.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Is the applicant present? Can you come forward, please? Can you state your name and address, please?
Kurt Van Lynch, 67041 Pine Ridge Road.
And does councilors have any questions? Does councilors have any question for the applicant? Councilor Leclerc?
I guess we're just gonna get into the, is there fencing on both sides of the property right now?
No.
So right now it's open to whatever you would, like the 6 to 8 feet?
Yeah, yeah. We're more, I'd be happy with 8 foot. I prefer it.
I would be too, so that's a good answer. No, that's all I wanted to ask right now.
Councilor Patrick, any questions?
Your building in the back that's sort of sharing the property with the residential, is that an estimated building?
No, it's cold storage.
Cold storage. Just wondering, will you be idling trucks in there?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions? Councilor Campbell, have you got any questions?
Councillor Patrick asked what I was wondering about, so I'm good.
Okay, Councilor Pfeiffer?
Just on, I know what galvanized metal is. I'm just confused as to what an opaque fence of galvanized metal. Is it flat? What does it look like? I don't know what an opaque is.
Yeah, it would be flat chain link around the sides, and in the front we would do something a little fancier. Like I think it's in the picture.
Yeah, I wasn't able to kind of get from the renderings what it would look like. It just looked interesting. Yeah, it's kind of blurry.
I think it would be similar to what's going on the south side of the perimeter there in the Meadowlands. What they just started putting up, it kind of looked like it's a architectural appealing fence.
Yes.
Yeah, well, this is galvanized metal though, and that is a completely different material over at Meadowlands. So the only thing that I'm saying is, can you see through it?
No.
No, so it's completely blocked off and you can't see through it. Okay, and you wouldn't mind taking recommendations if, so on the previous application, I see you've got some trees buffering there, great to see. I just want to make sure that the trees are of a decent height, so that, you know, and maturity, so that when you put them in, they actually act as a good buffer for the other side. And I'm sure you have no objections to that.
No, we would like that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Does anyone else have any further questions? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Ms. Elias, is there anyone registered for the application?
Yes, we also have, I apologize, I can't think of the first name, it looks like Mr. Berzonski.
That's me.
Thank you. Registered and support.
Pardon? What's he, is he?
Support.
Is support, okay, can you state your name and address, please?
My name is Wojtek Rzeszowski.
Okay.
I'm an architect
Okay.
for this, and I would like to add this fence which we choose is three-dimensional and this work for the acoustic as well because it's not flat. This is, and on the picture, the side plan, we have this picture of this fence. I don't know if we can do close up or not.
It's really hard to see, I tried.
No, on the side
Just
plan,
blurs
not
On the side plan, yeah.
not 3D model, just side plan, the first picture.
Different drawing,
There you
It's
go.
on the top. And it's,
Yeah, with the sun glaring against
Yeah,
it, it's just
that
tough.
was the one I was having trouble seeing.
So it's not a corrugated fence?
it's not corrugated, it's sort of corrugated, but it's not the round one.
It's more like
just
angular?
Hexagon.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Does Council Campbell have any questions?
No questions.
Councilor Clyburn, any questions?
No, I've just never seen a fence like that before, so it'd be interesting to see that fence.
I'm sorry, I don't know if the applicant answered the question, but would you be open to an 8-foot fence instead of a 6-foot proposed fence?
I think that, you know,
You're okay
For
with an
the-
8-foot fence?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I
Okay.
prefer it.
so we could go higher
Yeah.
on the back and
Yeah.
put it there.
I think it'd be good.
Good to know.
Councilor Bichetti, any questions?
No, that was the question.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any registered, as against, Ms. Black, registered against?
Yes, we also have Albert and Lynn registered in support.
Okay, where is, can you come forward, please?
No, I'm good, was just for information and support, so.
Or just, okay. Any other ones registered?
Then Jason registered in support.
That's me, I just support it also.
Oh, you do? Okay. Anyone else?
In opposition, we have Norma Albert.
Okay, Norma, come on
Do you wish to speak?
Yes, please.
Come to the
You
table.
come up here.
State your name, address.
Norma Albert, 212 Evelyn Avenue. And I have to say I'm somewhat conflicted on this one because certainly for the company, the business, with my background in workplace safety and injury prevention, I know that heavy construction and this type of industry is well aware of hazards and risks and safety concerns. And this company is multi-generational, I believe. It's been going for a long time. It subcontracts with companies that get contracts such as defense contracts, and it's suggested that the company is really well-rounded in its protocols and policies and its attention to detail. My concern here, again, with this area of blending the industrial, commercial, and residential, for a company with heavy equipment such as this, I think it's a reminder to the council that over the last year, we've had numerous attempts at discussions of what the traffic flow will be in and out of Parkview Point. And it's a reminder that Capulus Road, as we know it now, will not be. And the Capulus exit at number 8, McPhillips, will be closed once an alternate, which is north to Grassmere, is completed. And that means that all of this traffic related to Capulus Drive, whether it's customers or heavy equipment, even our very own public works, every bit of that traffic has to eventually blend with the residential traffic of well over 1,000 homes to exit via Parkview Point Drive, either at Main Street or north onto Grassmere. And so the concern will be blending all of this heavy equipment in with the residential. And as this whole area is built out with the residential and the school being completed, there will be much more activity in that area with children, pedestrians, bicycles, and you will have heavy equipment that has to blend into that residential roadway. And I see that as a major problem, as well as the intersection that's now totally complete at Main Street, the east one. That's now an 8-lane highway. That's not Main Street anymore. It's 8 lanes. So if you even had a pedestrian going from the trails across to Sonova, or Access, whatever it's called now, they have to cross an 8-lane highway. Main Street now is 6 to 8 lanes. That's not Main Street anymore. And I think that we have to be cognizant of, again, considering the rollout over the next 5 to 10 years. What is it going to look like, and how are we going to be able to manage this interaction between industry and residential. I believe that this company would be a welcome addition to West St. Paul, but I believe that it is better suited to be in an industrial park setting rather than this blend of what is commercial highway. As I mentioned in the earlier application, those the bylaw amendments have really blended that commercial highway much closer to light industry and M1. And I believe that's going to create problems for us. And I suspect this company will also be in the coming years, if they end up in this location, they're going to be concerned for the safety of the surrounding community and their workers as well, as they move their equipment back and forth in through the neighborhoods. Even if you're not going through the residential neighborhood northward to Grassmere, you are blending in with the traffic at Main Street. Capitolus no longer exits onto Main Street, it exits onto Parkview Point Drive.
Councilor Shannon?
If I just may, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
through the mayor. The only thing that's with us right now that we should be looking at is it's coming to us for conditional use for exterior storage. It's not if this type of business is allowed in the area, it's about the exterior storage. So just to, I understand the concern Mrs. Goldberg has. There's been plenty of upgrades to Main Street. It's an 8-lane highway, but it's also been improved for the safety of residents and pedestrians now with a boulevard in the center. People used to run across all 4 lanes before without a meridian in the center to stop. Now there's a set of lights with pedestrian crossings there. There's 2 turn lanes each way. So there's been a lot of improvements done to that from the years, as you know. We've seen Main Street a mess over the winter, especially with snow, without that meridian. But I just wanted to just reel it back in that we're looking at the variance for the outdoor the exterior storage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilor Craig, any comments?
No.
Questions?
Thank you.
Councilor Campbell?
No comments, thank you.
Councilor Clymer?
Well, I would just say, I appreciate Mrs. Olbert's comments. There is other heavy equipment already on Capitolus, Joe Johnson, there's Ridgemark Builders, there's Vermeer, there's a whole host, and then on top of it, we have a gas station coming in there. So there's gonna be traffic on that road no matter what we do. And my understanding from this application is that most of our heavy equipment is already off-site and continues off-site. So, if you have something off-site that you're drilling, it's probably gonna, and we can get the applicant to verify it, but they're not coming back and forth all the time. They're out on site and they stay out on site and they move from site to site. Imagine that they even have maintenance probably on site, because I know that we have some of our equipment done maintenance on site because we can come back to the shop. So, I think, your concerns about traffic are admirable, and I see that there's other businesses that could cause problems too. That's something that we have to take care of once Manitoba Infrastructure comes in and closes number 8, then we have to do a lot of thinking about how that's gonna flow. But as Councilor Boucher said, we're looking at cold storage at this point, so. But I thank you for your concerns.
Thank you very much. The applicant then wants to address council.
Mr. Mayor, if there's anybody else signed it, no.
Is there anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we had 2 registered for information. We had Eleanor Lane
Okay, No questions. Okay.
and Jerry Bowenty.
No
No
questions.
questions. Okay. So I can ask the applicant to come forward. Do you have any additional comments?
Yeah, I have a few. I would say Maple Leaf would be really open to the new intersection at Grassmere. We see that as beneficial. I'd also say that I've done a lot of work canvassing the existing business owners I didn't see it on there, but I have it here. I had 47 signatures from the business community, all in support and 0 against. I also have a couple emails in support on some that I couldn't reach. I tried to reach every single one and I was close. So pretty much every property owner and business owner is in support of Maple Leaf.
Mr. Mayor, could we see the list?
Yes, can you bring the list to us, please?
Do you wanna see it?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Can I just make a comment, Mr. Mayor?
By all means, please.
You know, looking at the rendition of those drawings, you know, I think that building is gonna be a flagship on Capulus. It's a, you know, rendition, looks like a very nice building. I would look forward to seeing what it looks like.
Yep, thank you very much.
Do you have any comments?
I have a question. So when I read your application, one of the things that you said in your application is a lot of your stuff's off-site.
Yeah.
So are you doing maintenance off-site too? Do you send people to do maintenance on your heavy equipment
We
off-site,
do.
or does
We
it come back?
Both. So we do both off-site, on-site.
Yeah.
And to your earlier comment, I was gonna address it, wasn't sure if I was allowed to, but 75% of our work is done outside of 100 kilometers of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Most of our jobs are long. We're not gonna be a heavy user on the road. We will be in and out a little bit, but almost all the equipment is anywhere from Northwest Territories to Quebec to Alberta and beyond. So we send our equipment long distances. We're trying to make this our headquarters. We want it to be a staple of the community, like you said, thank you. I feel that we'll do that, and I think we're gonna be very beneficial to the area, and I know all the business owners agree with me.
Question for you, why the move from Springfield to here? You just like us better, or?
Well, there's a few reasons. We really liked the spot. We wanted access to the perimeter, we wanted exposure. So the perimeter is right there. I visited the site this week, and it's a good spot for Maple Leaf.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
Just a point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Staff, would the staff want this exhibit for the record, just the petition in favor of the application?
I emailed it to them too.
Oh, did you?
Okay, thank you very much for your time. So the public hearing is now closed.
I'll move that.
Be it resolved that council does hereby close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting of the council.
I move the closing of the
Okay, who's second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Call for the question?
Yeah, call for the question, vote.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Hearing's
opposed?
closed.
Good, closed. Okay, resolution for conditional use 2022. Whereas the application has applied for conditional use 20/22 for permit outside storage associated with the contractor's establishment at 979 Capitol Drive in the CH Commercial Highway Zone. And whereas use under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representation for and or against the conditional use application. Now therefore be it resolved that the rural municipality of West St. Paul approves conditional use 20/22 under the following conditions. That conditional use approval is limited to what is proposed within this application. Any changes will require a new conditional use approval. applicant owner to obtain all required permits and approvals, including but not limited to those from the Red River Planning Board District, the RM of West St. Paul, and Manitoba Infrastructure. That any outdoor storage of vehicles, equipment, or materials associated with the business must be in compliance with section 3-11 of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul zoning bylaw, including being enclosed on all sides with a 6 or 8 foot high solid opaque wall.
Can I make a suggestion
Sure.
there? Could we change that condition to an 8 foot?
To an 8
Take
foot?
out the 6 or,
Yes,
make
okay.
it 8 feet, period.
Right, can do that.
Is everybody in favor of that change?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll start over, including being enclosed on all sides with an 8 foot high solid opaque wall or fence. Applicant owner submits elevations and landscape drawings to the municipality to review compliance with the design guidelines applicable to this property prior to building permits being issued. A landscape deposit based on the cost of required landscaping is also required to be paid and is refundable upon completion of the required items. The approval of the conditional use will expire and cease to have any effect if it is not acted upon within 12 months of the date of the decision. A board, council, or planning commission may extend the deadline under subsection 110.1 for additional period of no longer than 12 months if an application is received before the initial deadline, and for a second period of no more than 12 months if an application is received before the expiry of the first extension. I ask for a mover.
I'll move it.
Seconded.
I'll second.
Ask for the question.
Call to the question.
Discussion first,
Call to the question.
Call to.
Isn't there
Call
discussion
to
first?
question.
There's discussion first if you want to.
Yeah, you can have a discussion now.
Okay, does anyone
Anybody
want?
wants a discussion?
No questions?
Just basically say that I want to thank the applicant for coming to the RM of West St. Paul. I think from what we've seen from the presentation, the building's going to be a great looking building. So congratulations to the architect. I'm happy to hear that the applicant is agreeable to an 8 foot fence. And that the minimum setback conforms to our zoning bylaw, so thank you very much for that. Now you're planting trees in the back, I think that's great. You've obviously thought about the design and how you want this and how you want to fit into the neighborhood and be a good contributor to the RM, so really appreciate that. I just wanted to put those remarks for the record.
Does anyone else have any comments?
No comments.
No comments?
Welcome to West St. Paul.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Any proposed changes to the resolution must be supported by them. Okay. All in favor of the proposal?
Aye.
Aye. Good. All against? None? Carried.
Now welcome to West St.
Thanks again.
We have the first reading of the bylaw amendment. It's not a public hearing though. It's general plan of it.
Oh, okay.
So that way Kenny and Mr. Eno can leave and they don't have to sit through this.
Oh, okay. First reading of zoning bylaw amendment, BR 22-9P. Be it resolved that bylaw 2022 being a bylaw of the Municipality of West St. Paul to amend the RM of West St. Paul zoning bylaw 2-99P by referring the subject line identified as rolls 22920, 22930, and 22950 from A80 agricultural zone to RC comprehensive residential zone to be read a first time.
Okay, I want Mr. Eno to show you the application before we vote.
Okay. Can you show us the application before we?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Peggy is going to go through the details of the application, but I thought just because this is the first rezoning application that this new council is seeing, maybe I'd just give you a quick refresher about the basic steps of the rezoning process. So this is just sort of the Coles notes on it. There's 6 basic steps of doing a rezoning application. Obviously, someone submits an application, you have first reading, there is a public hearing, then second reading and third reading. In between first reading and scheduling the public hearing is going to be circulate the application to the different government departments, adjacent municipalities, and collect all of that needed information. Right now, we are here, we're at first reading, where we've done just a very cursory review of the application against the development plan, and Feldy's gonna tell you a little bit about that. The second step, as I noted, or the third step in the process, is where we do more in-depth research and start preparing a report for council about how does this adhere or not adhere to the specifics in the development plan, the secondary plans and such, as well as gather those important pieces of information from the various government departments and agencies for you to consider. Once we have all that, then a public hearing would be scheduled. And this is where you get the results of our research in the form of a report, along with a recommendation of if it meets the policy requirements or not, as well as you get the input from the applicant and the public at the public hearing. And then should council wish to approve the application, it then goes through second and third reading. So right now we're at first reading. It's absolutely up to council to decide if you want to proceed with this, or if you want this to stop right here and now. If you do give it first reading, you are not saying that you approve the application. You're essentially just giving our office the thumbs up to go and do more research and start the public hearing scheduling process. So I thought I'd just give you all just a quick review of the process since it's our first meeting on this. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Femi, who's going to give you a little more details about this specific proposal. Thank you, Mayor.
The bylaw amendment application of the 2002-09 coming back for the first reading. The location is Main Street Road number 229-200, 229-300, and 229-350. The proposal itself is to rezone the subject lands from AAT agricultural zone to RC, comprehensive residential zone. This table is a summary table of the proposed zone, RC bulk requirements in terms of the kind of lays out the setbacks. The front yard is 20, the side yard is interior is 5 feet, the corner side yard is 10 feet, and the rear yard is 25. And the building height in the proposed zone, which is RC, is 35 feet. And it talks about the site area and the site width, which is 8,000 square feet, and 60 feet in terms of the width. And the maximum lot coverage is 40%. So this is the subject site, and in terms of the surrounding area. And this is the current zoning, which is A80, and the surrounding zoning to RG and RRO. And this is the rezoning and subdivision map as submitted by the applicant. RRPD analysis, the subject land is currently designated as GD, which is general development, which supports residential development as per the policies. And there is an associated application, which is S22 2965 with this rezoning application. Considering the input from the RMO Western Paul Administration, Council passed the resolution number 2022-317 to table the application until first council meeting in November, which is what we have this evening. Generally, the subject proposal is consistent with the general development policies of the River Planning District Development Plan. However, more research and analysis is required before RPD can recommend if this specific proposal should be approved or not. Thus, we recommend that first reading be given to the bylaw, allowing a public hearing to be scheduled, and our office to conduct further research, including referred appeals to commenting agencies. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Can I have a mover for that?
I'll move.
Move.
I'll second
Second
it.
it. Discussion. Anyone want to discuss it? Is there any questions?
Or question?
That's the only questions?
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just Mr. Ojo, is there a secondary plan for this? Like, does the RM have a secondary plan for this area? And would this proposed development, is it consistent with the table of figures that you showed? With like the 8,000 square foot and all those other, is it consistent with that if there's a secondary plan?
Okay. There is a secondary plan for the area. It's the West St. Paul North secondary plan, and this area is slated for single-family residential development. There are no indications for lot size in the secondary plan. So just as I noted, from a cursory review, single-family zone fits within the single-family type of designation. So, but we'd have to do a more in-depth detail on all the specific policies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any more questions?
Thank you.
I'd like to retreat, and I'd like to add a couple of agencies to our circulation, or a couple of things. Wonder if we could get Manitoba Heritage added to the list of agencies, our Director of Infrastructure, and our Fire Chief as well.
They are all standard agencies that we submit to, yes.
Our Director of Infrastructure is not normally asked.
We circulate to the municipality, and
Okay.
and your municipal administration then provides comments.
Right, can we ensure that the Fire Chief and these people, those two people, and as well as your comments, Mr. CEO, and also Manitoba Heritage specifically, because I believe there's some issues with that, so I received a complaint when I was campaigning that it's a heritage site. I'm not sure about that, so wonder if we could circulate to them, find out that information as well.
Absolutely, Madam Councillor. The Historical Research Branch of Manitoba, I think it's now called Sport, Heritage and Culture, I believe, is they're on the list.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
And they have actually been circulated as part of the related subdivision application.
Okay, great. And just a quick question for you, so that we're aware, and we, like, Mayor Truchin is new to the planning. First reading is something that we as council should be doing because it has to go to public hearing. Is that correct? We could have an appeal, we could have issues if we don't get first reading. Is that essentially what we're doing here?
So council is always has the option to reject it at first reading. But as you're aware from being on council before with changes to the Planning Act, whenever council whenever council rejects a rezoning application, that can be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board by the applicant. Our office would suggest that as well, I should say that council has to provide written reasons of why you've rejected it. Our office has suggested to our member municipalities on applications where they at least adhere on a cursory level at this point to the development plan and secondary plans, to give it first reading, to at least give you the opportunity to get all that needed in-depth detailed information. Then you can make a really good informed decision.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any additional comments? None? Okay, can we call for,
You have a mover and a seconder?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Did you vote?
No.
You have to vote.
Aye. All those opposed? None, carried.
That's at the end of our public hearing, so we can take a break.
Yes.
5 minutes?
Yes, does anyone want to take a break?
That's the end of our public hearing.
Hearings, yes.
5-minute break?
Yes.
Yeah.
5-minute break.
Good. Okay, are we all ready to resume? Okay, so we'll start off with item 6.2, Red River Planning District Activity Report. It's received as information only. Does anyone have any comments, questions about it? Councilor Sherry?
I'll move it as information, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilor Claver?
No, nothing, thank you.
Okay,
I moved this I moved it as information.
Second.
We don't-
seconded?
Oh,
We don't have to move it,
Oh,
it's
for
received as
We
information.
just accept it as information. All right, super.
Okay, number 7, confirmation. Confirmation of minutes. 7.1, special meeting of September 8th. Be it resolved that the minutes of the special meeting of council held on September 8th be approved.
Can I read that one?
Yeah, Councilor Thank you, Ken.
I'll second.
Pete? Does anyone have any comments on it? None? Nope. Any proposed changes to the resolutions? Okay, can I have a seconder, all in favor? Can I have a seconder?
First mover?
First
We
mover?
got a mover and second
Moved?
here. Yeah.
You got a seconder?
Right.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, carried. 7.2, regular meeting, regular planning meeting of September 8th. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular planning meeting of council held on September 8th, 2022 be approved. Now I'll move her to the resolution. Seconder,
Second.
Councilor Campbell. Any comments? None? All those in favor of it?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Okay, carried. 7.31, inaugural meeting on November 1st. Be it resolved that the minutes of the inaugural meeting of council held on November 1st, 2022 be approved.
I'll move it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Councilor Campbell, seconder. Any comments, councilors? None? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Okay, carried. Let's see. There we are in delegations. None, no delegations. No bylaw considerations. Accounts, accounts and invoice for payment.
Can we have a resolution to accept the payments as, we eliminated resolutions last year, but there was no council vote on it. It was just done. So I'd like to see that we do our payment vouchers as a resolution again with approval from council.
Okay. Be it resolved. Is there, can we have a resolution?
Is there anybody against that?
Well, sorry, maybe just elaborate on that.
Well, last year, in 2021, it was just decided that we were no longer going to do resolutions and approve the payment register. And there was no, council can only act by resolution, and there was no resolution put forward on a vote. So we should be doing a resolution as per our bylaw to accept the, and approve the payment registers.
Right, okay. I don't have an issue with that.
Okay. Then, so be
Do
it
you know about
resolved.
that?
No, what was the reason, there's gotta be a little bit more, like you must have a little bit more backstory or, like it.
Well, some were not agreed with, and then there one time that somebody didn't vote, and so it was defeated. So there was some issues with that, so.
Okay, so the reason I have a problem, I would have an issue with that is, let's say there's, you and I are sick, or we have one person sick and one person votes no, and payroll is on the agenda, right? So then would we not pay RM staff? We just go, you're not gonna get paid?
Well, you have a majority, so.
This is for accounts and invoices, not payroll.
But I think she's going towards all of that, right? I don't think it's just this that she,
No, it's just this one.
No, it's just this one.
just this one. But
Yeah, because we haven't been approving them, and I'm asking to approve them,
so they've been on the agendas,
and they haven't been approved.
they've just been going through.
Yeah.
And has there been any issues with that?
When you're a minority, you can't say much.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm
because-
just trying to get some backstory,
Yeah.
I'm asking.
I don't wanna get
questions
too in-depth about it, but we can certainly go on camera if you want to, but we should have a resolution to approve invoices.
I think,
Mr. Mayor, if I may comment.
Yes,
The stuff on the payment registry is stuff that's been passed through budget, and it's day-to-day running of the municipality, which we pass through budget. So there's a little bit more of a backstory. I'd like to see maybe something come up from administration saying why we stopped doing that. But if you look at the payment registry, there's nothing that goes on there that has not already been passed in our budget deliberations. And
Well, we don't
as
know
you
that
can-
for sure. I know of one that I
Administration works
emailed
on-
about that definitely was not the budget.
The administration works off of what we pass through our budget and day-to-day operations. So
And we're the governing body that is supposed to approve that and be keepers of that. So I'm asking that we approve the payment registers and pull out anything that we disapprove of.
Okay, then I'm asking for maybe something from administration to show us why we wouldn't need to approve that, and this does come out through budget process. More of a backstory, I guess, as Councillor Campbell had said, to why we stopped doing that.
Was there a resolution from council to stop doing it?
Administration.
It might have been in the procedural bylaw or something, I can't remember, I'd have to go back.
It's not in there.
I don't think it was just off, but I'm not sure, I can't remember. It's over a year ago.
So can we have a resolution for this one then, and then we can revisit it when we come up to the next one to approve this?
So what is your resolution gonna be for, sorry?
Be resolved that a voucher 44001 to 44287 as listed on the payment register totaling $9,820,035.04 and vouchers checks 44017, 42855, 44196 totaling $2,467.27, and September 9th, 29 and October 31st, 2002 visa payment totaling $55,560 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover on that?
So, sorry, so just one final comment. So right now, we typically wouldn't be doing a mover or second or voting on this, right? Because it would already be paid. Am I correct in that? Administration, sorry?
Well, yeah, look, what previous history has been, one time the vote was defeated, and we had all these payment checks, right, that had already gone out. So this is more of a formality. I don't have any problem with doing a resolution in the future. I don't know if we do it tonight or not, but we're still listing the payment register. We're still listing the visa. If there's, if council wants to do a resolution, you could decide to do it tonight, or I could come back and give you history, and then we could do it no time. As CAO, I don't oppose it at all.
So what you're saying, through the chair, what you're saying is this has all been paid, and if we have an issue with it, it doesn't matter, it's already gone out.
Well, yeah. I mean, when we have bills, when we have a series of procedures, right? So there'll be a purchase order, there'll be an invoice that will go through departments, the finance director will see it. So we have a whole process of just like every other business does for checkpoints and different hands on the checks, right? Or the invoices. So it's called separation of duties in accounting. So that's what we have. So if it's mute that if we defeat it, what would we do?
Well, last time it was defeated, nothing was done.
Right, because it's based too on timing, right? Where we have checks, if we have hydro checks to go out, different payments, if we don't do those payments on time, we'll get penalties.
I understand that.
Yeah.
However, if we had a problem with one of the payments and we wanted it removed, it's already done, so nothing would change, right?
Well, we could always go back after that money.
Okay, so why in the past has every council previous to this one had a resolution? Because it's our governance,
Well,
is it not?
it was because it's like those things when I worked at the city in waste and water. One time I was doing an audit and we said, why did you do this, right? And they said, well, because the people before us did this, right? So, I mean, it's up to council if you want to do, well, that's exactly it. You're saying, other councils have done this, so why did they do it? They don't know why they did it. They just were doing it.
Who would be legally held responsible if something went wrong? Would it be council legally held responsible if something went wrong with payments?
Well, I don't know what would.
Like, is it not our good governance to approve?
Absolutely. I don't have a problem doing a resolution, Councillor Clyburn.
I mean, if we're approving the payroll, and we're approving the financial statements, should we then not approve a payment register?
I'm not debating it,
Yeah, I don't think the CEO's debating, he's just giving information.
yeah, I.
So if you want, you know what, and I'm fine with that, just you brought up that it had stopped being a practice, right? So
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, everybody, if we wanna do a resolution, let's do a resolution.
The only concern I would have on that is that, I mean, the city has to like, you could bring up some good points. I think that this council definitely needs to approve any monies that we're expending, right? Councilor Burchetti was saying that these are already approved items in the budget, that makes sense too. And then at the same time, if there are things that need to be paid, if the company's waiting for council to make a resolution before anything gets paid, then that could cost the RM a bit more, because they might be billing those costs into the invoicing. So
I don't think they've ever waited, but it gives us an opportunity to say that should be paid, we pull that out. I have an objection to that, right?
yeah, I like the concept of oversight, I do.
Yeah.
What we can do, I think it's already a done deal. Maybe we can, for the next one, we can ask the CEO to come back with some background information, some pros and cons, just more of an analysis of the issue, right? For our consideration. Whether we make a resolution today or not, it is a moot point, right? Because the monies have already been paid. But you bring up a good point on the oversight.
Okay.
Okay, so then we'll ask the administration to bring us pros and cons at the next
Yeah.
meeting.
I'll give a history on what happened and go from there.
And the CEO can provide a council seminar perhaps at a time that works for council on the matter here.
Sure.
And also, if council has no objection to resolution,
I don't have an objection, but I think it's important. Like I said, it's a moot point at this point.
if we're already approving payroll, does that mean the payroll doesn't get paid? Obviously payroll's been paid too, right?
Should be paid, yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to,
Are there any questions about that? These are reports or the,
are there any questions? Yes. None? None?
So at this point, then on a point of order to the administration, we don't need to move a motion for information?
No.
Okay.
I do have a question for our CFO, because she's sitting here and she's sitting at the table. I brought you a stale dated check, and that was from the meeting where it was defeated. Has that been reissued?
Not at this time, it's on the next drawing.
Okay, thank you, but it will be reissued.
Right.
Thanks. I didn't cash my check.
Okay, so now we are on number,
You're on the payroll monthly statement.
yep, number 11, payroll monthly statement.
Put it on the resolution?
Yeah.
I got it from this there.
Hey, why is this not working? Yes, right.
Where's your mouse?
Right
Where's your
here.
mouse in the white area? Put it in the white area and click. Okay, here, read my resolution.
Okay. Be resolved that the payroll for the months of August, September, and October as follows be approved as presented. Mover, seconder?
I'll second it, Mr.
Seconder,
Mayor.
okay.
So my discussion here
Discussion.
is to point out exactly what we just finished talking about. We have a resolution to pay August, September, October. I would point out, these people have already been paid as well. Those checks have gone out, and we have a resolution, so it's an oversight issue. So if we can do it for this, we should be doing it for the others as well. That's my comment.
Do we need to do it for this?
I would think
Yes.
so.
Yes, it is already being done.
Yeah, it's not like we could go back and take the payroll back.
Exactly.
Or, Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
maybe we shouldn't be doing a resolution for this, because this is again another budgeted item that we do for our staff and payroll.
I agree with
We've
Councilor
already
Bichetti.
approved it once through budget.
I don't agree with that because I see a lot of these items here, the dollar figures. I like to have some more information regarding this, like where does the $83,000 go for? Like, can it be broken down further by department, by, I guess we'd like to, I would like to see where how this was generated, this money. How much overtime was paid, how many hours were worked for it, but is that possible to present, or?
No, I'd have to look at it, talk to Crystal.
We do have the breakdown, but that would be something that would have to be decided on.
Yeah.
We could have a council seminar. You could plan with Mr. Mayor and organize it with the CAO and staff.
I think we should do a financial, you're exactly right. Let's have Crystal present what we do for accounts payable, what we do for payroll.
Okay.
Those items are budgeted, right? We have a budget at the start of the year, and the budget has, you know, all the accounts, and it's approved, and then we follow that through the year, so. But let's do a seminar.
Okay.
That makes sense. I mean, we have a new mayor, we have some new councillors.
Yep.
So it's, I think it's beneficial.
And then also it would be interesting to see, we have these, we get these lump sum amounts, but we don't really see where we are in the budget.
Right, okay.
So it would be nice to know where are we in the budget as, with respect to these numbers as well, even if it's in addition.
Like whether we're on target?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll call to the question.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Favor. Okay. All opposed? Anyone opposed? No, none carried. Okay, number 12. Monthly financial statements. Be it resolved that Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approve the financial statements for the period ending September 30th. Can I have a mover for this, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Campbell moves, can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
She seconds it. Any comments, questions?
I just wanted to ask a question about the financials statements for 2021, the audited statements. Are we on track for that, or?
Yes, so due to scheduling, the auditors are coming in on Monday to do their testing. And they have all of my documents, so the ball's in their court now.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you also give us an idea of where you are with statements for 2022? When will they be audited by?
Oh, the 2022 audit is on schedule, as we are now caught up
Okay.
with our financial reporting for 2021. So as soon as we receive the audit back from our auditors, that'll be submitted to the province. We'll be right on schedule. 2022, I don't see any issues with us submitting by June 30th.
Okay.
I just have one comment.
Sure.
You know, from being on council before, I think it's standard practice for all RMs. You know, they get their audited statements half or 3/4 of the way through the next year, just so that everybody is aware. Because I know there's been comments that, you know, on online and stuff that we're 2 years behind on audited, and you know, I know whether it would be East St. Paul or Headingley, I think everybody is very similar timelines for audited statements and you know, whatever year that we're in.
I guess, Councilor Campbell, what I have an issue with is this is a municipality with $12 million budget. You got corporations that have billions of dollars and they can do audited financial statements within 3 months. Why can't a municipality with $12 million do something within 3 months? Why does it take them more than a year to do it?
Yeah, I'm not, you know, we'd have to ask, I can't remember who does our audits, whatever firm, and like I said, because I know what, we've had information sessions with them before, and you know, maybe we'll get one with them again, and they'll, I can't remember the exact wording, but they said this is standard practice for RMs, not just, you know, one that has a $12 million budget. Maybe even Mike, Mr. Pactican, Councilor Pactican could bring up his previous experience with how the city was even. I'm not sure how, you know, I'm sure it's probably very similar for budgeted statements.
Well, the dissimilarities are,
They have
there's
their own-
probably 1,000 people or 500 people in the
Yeah.
finance department.
Yeah.
There's a payroll clerk, there's an accounts payable clerk, and then there's Crystal in the RM. So that's the difference with the corporations, right? And you have 3 people. If one person is away, if they're on maternity leave, or I mean, the facts are straight, right? There's 3 people in finance. One's payroll, one's accounts payable, and then you have Crystal. So it's hard to be comparable to a large organization. You know, where Mike's previously from, the council had a department of probably 60 people that administered the council.
Yeah, fair enough.
We have myself and Julia tonight, and I'm the CAO, and I'm administrator. At the city, I wouldn't be at this meeting. It would be the city clerk.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, I do books for a living, so my audited statements are a lot faster. I mean, I get them done in 3 months. But having said that, I will say that Crystal also has to combine other organizations. And if those organizations don't have their financial statements done, she can't combine them into the audited statement. However, our part should be done on time. And I always look at it this way. If the province puts a deadline on, there's a reason there's a deadline. And they're giving you 6 months to get it done, which seems like a very reasonable time, because I know I can get mine done in 6 months. But then there is the issue sometimes when you can't get the cooperating Karchi Water to get their financial statements up. You would have to wait for that. Well, when that's all in, said and done, then it should be gone.
I agree they should be done. Our next target is, I believe, June.
Yeah.
And, you know, they should be done.
Yeah.
Very
Good.
Great.
I think we have to have a mover and a second. Do we have a mover and a seconder on that?
I think we did, yeah.
Did we vote?
You need to vote.
Okay.
Call for a vote.
Favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next one is the CAO report. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality accept the CAO's report as information. Can I have a mover on that?
I'll move.
Seconder? Councilors have any comments on the CAO's report? None?
We also have council reports and the animal control reports.
So all of them?
They're all
They're all
under
under
that
the CAO.
resolution.
All,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, all the reports, councilors' reports. All of them. You're all,
I filed the reports.
all fine with reports?
Yep.
Fine, okay, good. Can we vote on it?
Yep.
Eric?
Do we have a mover?
We had a mover.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. Do we have a mover and a second?
Yeah, you have a mover and second, you just have to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay. Communications, none.
Is your resolution? Control.
Ah,
There we go. Click on that red book right there. Very good. You guys. Click on you guys. There you
okay. Be resolved that Council of the Municipality of West St. Paul accept the miscellaneous correspondence for the month of September, October as information.
I'll move.
Move it. Seconder?
Second.
Peter, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carried. Next one is, miscellaneous correspondence of motions for September, that's what we just did,
You're under general position.
You're under 15.
15, okay.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, let's talk about 14.2.
14.2, Santa Claus Parade.
I thought we, under communications.
That's under the
That's under
miscellaneous
communications,
correspondence.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
miscellaneous.
a separate item under
It's a separate
Okay.
item.
Oh, okay.
communications.
So, they accept that as information in Santa Claus Parade, can I have a mover on that?
No,
Don't
you
need to
just
move.
received,
Suzie?
yeah, it's received as information.
Okay.
Are you gonna be Santa?
I don't know.
So we've been asked to participate in the Santa Parade of Lights. Is anybody going to be participating?
Friday, December 2nd.
I don't know if we're supposed to participate in way of a float, or if we're just supposed to participate by being there.
Or we can just think about them.
Is there a written request?
There is an email, yes.
Hold on, let's see it.
Yeah, and there's an entry form. They're looking for floats.
Or you walk in a group.
Or you walk
They
in a
had
group,
groups,
yeah.
they had other councils walking in groups between the floats.
I'm gonna be away, so I will not be able to attend.
So does anyone want to go, or? Want to think about it?
The email's saying it's looking for floats to be entered, it's looking for volunteers, and, you know, they welcome monetary donations.
Mr. Mayor, if I may ask
Yeah.
administration,
Right.
what have we done in the past with this?
We haven't gone to the Christmas break.
It all comes down to someone would have to do it, right? So I have a work dinner that night myself. So.
I'll move it as information, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Kate, move it, second.
We don't need a.
We don't need a resolution.
Okay, just accept it.
Yeah. General business, 15:1, miscellaneous meeting dates. Resolution. Okay, be it resolved that the Council of Rural Municipality authorized attendance to the following meetings, all the way from September to end of October 26th.
I'll move it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, move it, can I have a seconder?
Second.
Any comments?
No comments from me.
Can I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? None, carried. Appointment of council committees, resolution. Be it resolved that the council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approves appointments to committees as follows, according to the report. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Can I have a mover and a seconder? Mover. Campbell, seconder. Any comments?
Comment.
Yes.
There's a couple committees, I guess it's not so much where the council is, but there's a couple of them that the CAO would sit on. And I'm just wondering why there's the Cartier water system, the water conservative, whatever they want to call it. I believe he's a member of, a part of the
I think he's
board
vice chair.
or whatever, vice chair, I believe. So I'm just wondering why something like that wouldn't have been included or put in as that. I'm just looking at last year's.
So when I looked at the resolution, it gives us an option of who's on the board, it can be councillors or administration. I decided that it should be councillors because then they are more involved in what's going on with the municipality. I see that the CAO has things to look at here within the municipality, and that'll distract him his time, so the more time he spends here, the better that the municipality will run. So that was all the rationales why I picked what I did.
Just to further on that, it's just that, I guess administration, seeing what's going on with the Cartier water system does benefit us, as we are part of that, so it would, I guess they have more meetings than most of council would need to attend when it's just the board, or changes that are happening. It would just, I was just wondering why more wouldn't be left since he sits on the board there for the municipality.
I agree with Councilor Bussetti's comments on that. It's just such an important issue in the community, water. You know, I think council members that are busy with day jobs, I think everybody here does have some sort of a day job, that the, you know, the CAO does meet with developers and has to.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please.
It's 4 meetings, 4 meetings a year.
Yep.
There are some municipalities that have the CAO on. There's some municipalities that have the CAO and the mayor on. There's some municipalities that have the mayor and the councillor on. So I think, you know, I think that these two councillors have a reasonable point, but I'm good with the councillor and the mayor attending the meeting. If that's what they want.
If we find that it's more,
Yeah.
requires more of your expertise, we can certainly have you come along, right? So it's not like we have to completely preclude you.
Yeah, go and see what it's about, and you can make your decision then. So I'm good with it. I think it's good comments by the councillors, but I'm also good with, I know Headingley is one that has a mayor and a councillor there, right? Some of them have the mayor and the CAO, so that's whatever Mr. Mayor chooses, I'm good with.
Yeah, I'm just worried about, you know, the information flowing to the RM, that's all.
So are you afraid that we wouldn't give the information to the RM?
No, but what if you're away, right? What if you're not, you don't make a meeting because you're away? Or not at all about information coming that way, just,
It's only 4 meetings a year. I'm sure we could make it, but if we can't make it, then the mayor can decide to have an alternate if he likes.
I have a different reasoning for that. It's that the RM, I guess, I don't know how often their AGMs are or however they pick the different boards, but we committed to the 1 year or I'm not sure how long the appointments are for all the different committees, but we appointed the CAO as that, so I'm just wondering how that affects the board by just pulling someone off the position that he was in.
The chair is Mayor Robson of Henley, and I was the vice chair, but I'm sure they'll have to go through a whole round of re-elections now that there's changes in council and CAOs.
Okay, I was just worried about it disturbing the whole realm of what they had set up there already.
water's, you know, a very important topic in West St. Paul, so hopefully we get reports back when after our meetings.
Yep.
Well, that's our job. We'll do that. Yeah.
Then we, any more comments? Can we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Carried. Metro Winnipeg resolution. Be it resolved that the rural municipality of West St. Paul participating in Winnipeg Metro region has been legislated by the province of Manitoba. Therefore, be it resolved that the council of the rural municipality of Manitoba resume its participation in the Winnipeg Metro region. And furthermore, be it resolved that the rural municipality of Winnipeg pay any arrears of fees from previous years as well as any current required fees. Could I have a mover on that one? Can I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Comments?
Yes.
Please.
I'm wondering why we say that we have to pay the arrears. They weren't arrears if we were not part of the board. Like we dismissed the year and a half. I'm just shooting, I don't know if it was a year, but I don't know why we say we're going to pay the arrears in this when we were not part of the decision-making for that last year and a half through the planning of 2050 and the other stuff that has come back that we now have to follow. So we didn't have a lot of input into that, so I can't see why we have to go back and pay the last year and a half, which I'd like to even see what those numbers are, because I don't know how long we've been out of it and what the dollar amount would be.
It's $7,000 a year, so we'd be paying $14,000.
So I don't know why for the 2 years we would go.
May I make a
Go
comment,
ahead.
Mayor Turgeon?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was our choice, it was some people's choice, I was not on this vote, but there was a choice to remove our participation. We were legislated to be in Winnipeg Metro. We have no choice but to be in Winnipeg Metro. So participation was suspended, but anytime you suspend a participation in any organization and you want to come back, you gotta pay up your arrears. So this is a gesture and a goodwill gesture to pay our arrears and become part of the board again. And we should have been at the table, we should have had some input into that, but for some reason, the council decided to remove us. Perhaps the CEO could speak to that.
I don't have any insight on that.
You don't have any insight on that, okay.
Can I agree?
Go ahead.
Just comment back to, it's not just our municipality that left the metro region. There's multiple municipalities that left it for a lot of the same reasons as we hear when we're, communicating with other municipalities. There were some choices being made. I'm just trying not to get to the point on anything. Some choices being made that I guess weren't to the satisfaction or the information coming back to this council as you are appointed to this committee as a member of the council. but yet the information was not flowing back because through the metro region, it states that you're a member of the metro region, you do not need to bring your information back to council to get an approval. Well, you're put on that position through council. So for them to tell you that you don't have to go back to your council to get that information, well, that's completely wrong. That's like saying we're spending the RM's money, but without council's approval. It's,
Good point. I would make the point that if you're not sitting at the table either, you're not making any decisions and you're not part of the decision making, so now the decisions are being made without you. Now you have no input whatsoever. So it's better to be at the table than not at the table. And we're rejoining this organization now. We haven't paid for, since October of 2020. So why would we not pay up our fees and bring it up to date? That's what you do with any organization when you want to rejoin an organization.
Not possible.
Well, then you let it lapse.
Well,
It's also a goodwill gesture to come back into an organization and say, in good faith, we're coming back. We want to be part of this.
but nothing has changed from the problems that us and other municipalities have had. Like there's
We
nothing.
don't know that. We have totally different people at the table now. Right?
I don't agree with paying the $14,000 when we don't know what information has changed and what we're going into. That's just my opinion.
Well, Councillor Bichetti, I would say this. I don't know why we left. And I was never given a valid reason as to why we left.
Information back to the table. I was at the table when we were given the information right here, is that the information wasn't flowing back to council like it's supposed to.
It
We
was
sit
flowing
on
back to
planning.
council, but the difference was this council wanted to approve or disapprove before they gave the mayor the vote to go back to Winnipeg Metro. But that is not the terms of reference of Winnipeg Metro.
Go ahead.
So thank you very much for the resolution. I'm supportive of the resolution. I'm excited to see that we're going to be rejoining the Winnipeg Metropolitan Region. I think there's some good synergies, and anytime that municipalities get together and talk about economic development and integrated planning, especially with the city of Winnipeg, we're part of the capital region. We're right next door to the city of Winnipeg. We're a pretty powerful local economy to help drive Winnipeg, and Winnipeg can also help drive the economy of the arm of West St. Paul. So I think discussions can be had. Yeah, am I happy about paying the arrears? No, but I think it's a necessary thing that we have to do. We have a new council, we have a new mayor in the city of Winnipeg. I think that we can make some positive changes, and I'm looking forward to that. So I support the motion.
I agree. I support the motion.
Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, okay, carried. East Interlake Watershed Mortgage District. Whereas the municipality of West St. Paul has met with the East Interlake Watershed District regarding the district proposals to exchange properties and increase mortgage payments. Yeah, flip the page. Whereas the East Interlake Watershed District has the authority to exchange the current office building at 74 First Avenue, Gimli, with a property at 50 Jacobson Drive, Gimli, has been purchased by 1003-7208 Manitoba Limited, in brackets it's Falcon. Whereas the board of the East Interlake Watershed District wishes to contribute $200,000 to 1003-7208 Manitoba Limited in exchange for additional building at 15 Jacobson Drive, Gimli. This will increase the mortgage payments from $1,044.17 to approximately $1,403 a month. Mortgage payments depend on the terms of the mortgage, such as final purchase price, down payment, and amortization. And whereas the member municipalities of the East Interlake Watershed District understand that they resume all full financial responsibilities for the loan in the event that the East Interlake Watershed District ceases to exist before the loan is paid off. And whereas the member municipalities understand that the province of Manitoba is responsible for any debt assumed by the district. Whereas be it resolved that the rural municipality of West St. Paul approve the request of the district to exchange properties and increase mortgage payments.
Mayor Trujan, just wording here, you said that the province is responsible, the province, the resolution reads the province is not responsible.
You're right, thank you very much. The province of Manitoba is not responsible for any debt assumed by the district. Therefore, be it resolved that the RM of West St. Paul approve the request of the district to exchange properties and increase mortgage payments. Could I have a mover on this, please?
Could we have some further information about this? Does the, Mayor Trujan, does the CEO have any information?
We have to move it first, though.
I can have a
We
mover
should
first.
move it.
Okay.
I'll move it, Tripp.
I'll second.
Move it,
I'll move it.
Dorothy will second it, okay?
The information I have, latest information from the director there is there would be no increase in cost to West St. Paul. The risk being that if this organization is dissolved by the province, at that point, we would have to be one of, I think it's a dozen municipalities that would have to take over the mortgage payments, but the building has more equity than the payments. That the equity's there, and so you would have risk and you would make payments until you could liquidify and sell the buildings. So my recommendation to council would be to move with the resolutions unless there's something that you're thinking that I'm not aware of.
So just to understand, so all municipalities own a part of the building, correct? Is that what you?
Well, the ECID does, and they get their grants from the province.
Okay.
Most of their grants from the province. But the province has said if that association is dissolved, they're not responsible. At that point, the municipalities become responsible. So in a way, yeah, I guess we would be owners of the building, but we're not. If ECID dissolves, then that leaves the municipalities on the hook.
Oh, but we can sell the building.
Yeah, there's more equity
Oh, okay,
than.
right, yes, okay,
So it was, at the time when they bought the building, it was a good investment,
yeah,
and they have lots of equity, so your only risk is if the province dissolves them, which I don't think will happen, then the municipalities would have to, one of them would have to buy the building, or the building would go up for sale, but the equity's there.
and the reason that they want this building is for more storage space? They want more storage space? That's what I read.
Well, they've got a lot of different things going on. That part of the of the change in how people are looking at things with environment and the changing climate, and that this organization is becoming more and more important, and there's more involvement by the province. There's more involvement by the municipalities involved in the watershed.
Yeah, okay,
So it's becoming a more important organization, so.
okay. Anyone have any more questions?
Can I just,
Councilor
Mr.
Bichetti?
CEO, you said, like, we don't own the building, EIWD does. But if something was to default, that's my only concern on this, is are the municipalities listed on the mortgage if something was to happen? Something crashes, you know,
I'd have to check that.
like, that's where I would, you don't know if there's more outstanding if something was to happen, or we're left on the hook, and is there other holders on their assets or whatever there might be? Like, I'm just wondering if we're listed as one of the owners of the building through, or whatever percentage they run it as.
Yeah, I would think, go ahead, Councilor Clywood.
Well, I think it would be under the corporation of 110372008 Manitoba Limited. You'd have to look up that holding company, because it's a holding company. And then the asset would be in that holding company. And then you would have the directors in that holding company, so you just have to check the directors.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I really, I find it highly unlikely that all the REMs would be listed as directors. Wouldn't you agree, Councilor Clymer?
It would depend how it's structured, right? I mean, you could have more than one director.
Oh, no, for sure.
Yeah, but you would also have, shareholders in that company as well.
We would have paperwork showing that we were a director, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you'd have paperwork, but also you'd have shareholders in that company. So you might be listed as a shareholder.
Yeah, which we would have documentation of.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with this, Mayor Trudeau.
Anyone else have any,
Do we have collateral here?
any comments? Any more comments?
No more comments, thank you.
Okay, can we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carried. Okay, now we're on 15.5, Fire Department, Western Paul Fire Department, appointment of additional member. Be it resolved that Council of the Rural Municipality of Western Paul appoint Brett Bridges to the Western Paul Fire Department effective October 17, 2022.
I'll move that.
Okay, mover, can I have a seconder?
Seconder.
Okay, Campbell. Any questions, comments?
Is this a new hire?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
I think the administration report says that you're doing an additional member because they've been down.
Okay. They were
And so
down
they're
to-
just bringing it up to their regular membership level.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None carried. Okay, sale of surplus equipment and supplies, whereas the Rural Municipality of Western Paul advertised for the sale of surplus equipment and supplies on an as-is basis. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of Western Paul accept the high bid submitted on items as follows. Item, a Squad 2 1976 Chevy half-ton 4x4 bid was, you want me to list it all?
No.
No, okay. You read
Just
it?
read the bottom and further be it resolved.
Okay, and further be it resolved that the fire chief will donate and dispose of the remaining surplus items as he determines appropriate. Can I have a mover on this? Councilor Clyburn?
Second.
Seconder, Councilor Campbell. Any comments, questions? None? Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? Carried. And now there is,
We're moving camera.
pardon?
We're gonna move the camera now?
Yes, moving camera.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Okay.
He needs to
Council
read the resolution.
Pardon?
He needs to read the resolution first.
Be it resolved that in accordance with section 152 of the Municipal Act, Council do now move in camera to discuss reports of the Ombudsman and legal matters. Be it further resolved that in accordance with section 83 of the Municipal Act, any issues that are discussed are kept confidential until discussed at a regular council meeting. Can I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Move it, Tate. Second Campbell, Tate, all in
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carried. Now we're on 18.3.1. Resolution be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of Winnipeg accepts the Manitoba Ombudsman
No,
report.
hold on, Julia's.
You said Winnipeg, can you say West St. Paul?
Oh, okay, be it resolved that the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accepts the Manitoba Ombudsman's report on file 2020-2238. Can I have a mover on that? Dorothy, seconder, Campbell. Any questions, comments? Can I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All, okay, carried. And then there is the second one, 18.3.2, Ombudsman's file number 1000167 resolution. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of Winnipeg accepts West St. Paul.
What are you saying?
I don't know. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accepts the Manitoba Ombudsman's file on MO00168. Can I have a move?
167.
167, thank you.
I'll move it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, seconded.
Second.
Bichetti seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Carried.
Now you have to do the resolution.
Yeah, one more resolution, right. The adjournment, number 19. Where are we here? Be it resolved that the meeting of council stands adjourned at 8:48, November 10th. The Rural Municipality of West St. Paul.
I'll move that.
Okay, seconded. Dorothy seconds it.
Okay, those in favor?
All in favor? Yeah, good.
Aye.
All right.